Hi friends, in today's current affairs lecture, I'll discuss the two different indices published by the Government of India, and those are Ease of Living Index and Municipal Performance Index. And I'll take index by index. First of all, I am taking Ease of Living Index. See, in this Ease of Living Index, actually this Ease of Living Index is published by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, because ministries are important. Housing and Urban Affairs, or you can consider it the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, MHUA. Okay. So what this index is about? This index will gives you some sort of information about the quality of life in some of the urban areas, because this index is only pertaining to urban areas, because I told this is the ministry responsible for this is Urban Affairs Ministry, and this survey or this index will publish only the details of urban areas, and that too it will try to give the information about the quality of life in these urban areas. So it is to evaluate the quality of life and the impacts of various initiatives taken by the Urban Development Ministry or the government or in respect of urban development. So what are the decisions that we have taken, and based on that what is the impact, the overall impact of those things, does it really change anything or not, that is we are going to evaluate in this index. And here when it comes to the evaluation of this index, they have taken lot of parameters. And how many cities they have included? Because we are having more than 4,000 urban local bodies in our country, but they have taken only 111 cities, and in that they have taken 49 cities which are having more than 1 million population, that means 1 million plus, and they have taken 62 cities which are having less than 1 million population. So they have divided it into two categories, and in these two categories they have given a ranking separately for these million plus population, and they have given a separate ranking for the cities which are having less than 1 million population. Now if you looking into the index, just I will show, I will come to this ranking later because which city got first, but for general understanding, the Bangalore, Pune, Ahmedabad are the best cities in Ease of Living Index of 2020, and it is in the more than 1 million plus population ranking, and Shimla ranked first in Ease of Living Index, it is less than 1 million category. Okay, when it comes to the municipal, I will come to this later, but both are for cities. Which parameters they have actually calculated these indexes, so that is important. See, if you looking into total 100%, and you have to be very clear about this aspect. Okay, so 35 plus 35 70, 70 plus 30. This 30% weightage is given to a citizen perception survey. Citizen perception survey was undertaken to help validate the citizens' experience. So how much you have done and how much it is affected with your official records, that is not important. How much people are experiencing, you need to take it from that people. And here for these calculation, I think in the 111 cities they have surveyed around 32.2 lakh people. From their feedback, they have given some weightage, and finally they have published the rankings. But if you take the overall case of ranking, what were the parameters? Okay, they have broadly divided it into three, but in these three they have taken 13 indicators. These are the total 13 indicators. And in these 13 indicators, and each and every one, finally they have taken whole 49. Under three broad categories they have taken 13 parameters, and under 13 parameters they have taken 49 indicators. Okay, every city has to, that means every city comes under this 111, and they will be evaluated on these 49 indicators under the 13 parameters under three broad categories. So what are those three broad categories? Quality of life, economic ability and sustainability. And this sustainability is very, very important because you will get a question on the sustainability every year. And when it comes to the sustainability, what exactly you need to write? What are the parameters that you need to consider as far as the development of the country, and especially when it comes to the development of the urban areas, what you must consider? I will come to that later, but this is important. Highest weightage is given to the quality of life, and in that education, health, housing and shelter, wash, Swachh Bharat mission, mobility, safety and security and recreation. So these are the parameters comes under the quality. When it comes to the economic, the level of economic development and also the economic opportunities that the city is providing. Okay, because the city must provide the economic opportunities. Okay, and when it comes to the sustainability, yes, environment, the quality of environment, the measures taken to protect the environment, green space and building. Okay, what are the green spaces that are available in your city? It is completely a concrete jungle, or somewhere you have allowed this plantation and also some greenery, so that they will take. Energy consumption, yes, this is one of the parameter, energy consumption. Are you using renewable energy or non-renewable energy? How much you are consuming that energy, and are you allowing the natural facilities to use, or you are just closing everything and you are using the energy? And city resilience, how much your city is resilient to some of the environmental hazards or environmental effects. So these are the things comes under the sustainability. So 35%, 15%, 20% and 30%. And one thing you need to understand before these parameters, because I told you, like it will show the quality of life, and in this quality of life they are taken lot of parameters which will really indicates the quality of life. Now in that weightage, some cities got first rank, second rank, third rank, and some went to last. Why actually we are doing this survey? Because I told you to know the quality of the city, and if someone knows the quality of city, then what is the use? Because okay, they will go and they will find their economic opportunities, but apart from that, does it really helps anybody? It helps the city itself, the city administration, or it helps the concerned state government. What they will come to know? They will come to know about how my state or how my city is performing on the front of urban development. Is my cities are sustainable, and how my cities are really doing on various front. Maybe you are the number one, but you are number one in what? You are number one in overall ranking, but somewhere you will definitely lag. And where I am doing good, where I am not doing good, where my city is performing better, where I need to bring improvement, in which front I am actually not performing well. This type of analysis definitely the state or the city administration will came to know. And it is something like a competition, because we heard like competitive federalism and all, but it is also a competition at the third tier level. That means the population which the cities which are having more than 1 million population, and the cities which are having less than 1 million population, and those cities are now competing on this quality of life, because cities are now the centers of migration, because people are migrating to urban areas in search of economic opportunities. That is really good thing or bad thing, I will come to that later, but people are coming. When people are coming, definitely it will provide some sort of indices to the people who want to migrate to the urban areas. And urban areas are now the growth engines for the country, whether we accept it or not, because 2/3 of the GDP is now contributing from the urban areas only. 2/3 of the GDP, that means more than 60% of the GDP is contributed by the urban areas. And if you take the population in the year 2019, according to World Bank estimates, because we will do census only once in 10 years, around 34.5% of the population is living in urban areas, and it may increase. It may go up also. So that is the reason why we need to focus on these urban areas. Just I will show the results so that you can understand. This is population million plus, and this is population less than million. The Bangalore one, Bangalore is first, Pune, Ahmedabad, Chennai, Surat, Navi Mumbai, Coimbatore, Vadodara, Indore and Greater Mumbai. And see just the score of this Bangalore. it is not 100%. That means the first ranker itself is getting 66, means even the Bengaluru is lagging behind in some areas. So it will helps the Bengaluru to understand where actually they are not performing well, and they will try to improve their performance. Like the same case with the other cities also. So that is why these type of indices are important. And if you take the case of population less than 1 million, okay, Shimla, Bhubaneswar, Silvassa, Kakinada, Salem, Vellore, Gandhinagar, Gurugram, Devanagari and Tiruchirappalli. Okay, so again if you take the case of the score of Shimla, it is only 60. That means 61, 60.9, no, 61. But still it will make to know the Shimla where it is actually lagging and how they can improve those things. So this will give you some sort of a concrete idea to the city administration or the state government where they must focus more. So that is how this index is really having its own importance. So ease of living index. Now I will go to the other index, the municipal performance index. Again the municipal performance index is also published by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. That means again same, they are doing this entire survey in municipalities, and again they are doing survey in 111 municipalities. They are not doing in all the municipalities. And the municipal performance index is an effort to assess and analyze the performance of Indian municipalities based on their defined set of functions, because they don't have all the functions, they have only limited amount of functions, but based on their functions they are try to evaluate the performance of the municipalities. This index will provide a granular understanding of the functionality of the municipal administration. So what is the meaning of this functionality? The meaning of functionality means the quality of being function. That means how much amount of quality that you are actually bringing in your performance. So this functionality will come. Okay, so they are going to check the functionality of the municipalities, that too 111 municipalities. Now the question is, what is the difference between this municipal performance index and ease of living index? Because both are look like similar. So before I enter into the various parameters, I will just give the difference between ease of living index and municipal performance index. See, the ease of living index encapsulates the outcome indicators, but when it comes to the municipal performance index, this input parameters. So that means once you implemented, what is the effect? So that is taken by the ease of living index, but whereas municipal performance index capture the enabling input parameters. What enables you to reach these outcomes? So it will focusing on the input enablers, this focusing on outcomes, and again this gives the functionality of the municipal administration. I am specifically referring to this functionality. I will come to this later, what exactly it means and why it is important. Now in the ease of living index, I told like we have taken 13 broad parameters. Under 13 broad parameters we have taken around 49 indicators, but when it comes to the municipal performance index, we have taken 20 varied sectors, and here they have categorized these sectors into different aspects. So this total 20 sectors, they will broadly categorized into some 5 aspects, and those are services, finance, policy, technology and governance. Okay, and under this broad 5 areas, they have taken 20 sectors. Under 20 sectors, they have taken 100 parameters. Okay, so main 5 areas, under the 20 sectors, 100 parameters. So what are these 20 sectors? Again you can see education, health, water and water waste, Swachh Bharat mission and sanitation, registration and permits, infrastructure, revenue management, expenditure management, fiscal responsibility, how much responsible they are when they are spending, and in order to balance with the incomes, and fiscal decentralization, digital governance, digital access, digital literacy, plan preparation, plan implementation, plan enforcement, transparency and accountability, human resource participation and effectiveness. So these are comes under governance part. This from governance they are comes into governance, and some of the things come into technology, and some of the things starting are related to services, and after that finance, and some of the things are the plan preparation, plan implementation, plan enforcement is related to some of the policy items. So that means under 5 areas they have took 20 sectors, under 20 sectors they have taken 100 different parameters. Now if you see the ranking, yeah, again they have taken again population plus million, population less than 1 million. This is 49, this is 62 cities. Okay, total 111. Now again in the million plus population, Indore is the one, Surat, Bhopal. Okay, again you need again New Delhi Municipal Corporation, Tirupati, Gandhinagar, Karnal, Salem, Tirupur. Okay, again if you see, it is only scoring 66, it is only scoring 52. That means again it is also provide competition among the different cities, but at the same time it helps the cities to understand where exactly they are doing better and where exactly they are lagging. Okay, so this is about the rankings. Now once you understand these rankings and also the parameters used in this, now just I want to come to an analysis on this urban areas. So what is this analysis? I already told like these urban areas are very important. Why urban areas are very important? Because if at all you want to get a good employment opportunities, you must come to urban area. That doesn't mean that rural area is not providing, but the point is the present condition is only urban areas are giving such an economic opportunities, and we wanted to bring those opportunities to the rural level also, but that's a different discussion. But nowadays these urban centers are becoming like a growth engines. So they are actually the engines of growth. When it comes to the population is continuously started migrating towards the urban areas, and we need to expand the urban areas, we need to create new urban areas, because the population is actually moving, and at the same time the GDP contribution is also very high. I told like it is 2/3. And in the 73rd and 74th and in the 74th constitution amendment, we have given constitutional status to these urban local bodies, ULBs, and we have transferred 18 powers to these bodies, and they need to function. But again it's all depending on the state government whether they are transferring it or not, but once these opportunities are there for that urban areas, definitely you need to delegate that powers, and there must be a governing body, and it is not something like a governing body. That governing body must have an elected representatives, and the elected representative must involve in this developmental process. That is very important. And one more thing you need to understand, okay, you have the constitutional spirit and you have transferred and there is a body they are doing, but if you observe some of the states or some of the cities, why actually they are performing better? See, whenever you are evaluating, we are taking lot of parameters, but how those parameters will really work? Today we said, okay, there must be a technology, there must be an effective governance, and there must be some sort of sanitation. See, the point is these things will inherently related to some qualities. What are those qualities? The state which provide education and health, then we can expect much on that front. That means we can expect much from those states, as people will came to know about this importance of sanitation. People are healthy, people are educated, people are knowledgeable, people can understand, people have responsibility. So that means these two parameters will really make will contribute a lot to the other parameters. Whenever actually we are taking that indicators, we are giving some weightage to the health and education. But my point is that this health and education is a prime mover, and if we are good in that front, automatically remaining things will get its own mileage. So that is why we need to focus on these front, like education and health. This is very important for any city. And if you see some of the cities, we can understand how actually those states are really performed well on the front of health and education and providing opportunities. And if you do that, definitely we can improve on this front. So a special focus on education and health must be there. And one more thing is, it is providing a holistic assessment, but you need to understand whenever you are doing on this holistic analysis on these urban areas, and you know what the parameters they have taken, and you know who has conducted that, and you know which cities are performing better and which cities are actually not doing. Now you must know the governmental involvement in the urban development, because sometimes you will get the question. So Indian cities are okay, comparatively the southern cities are performing well compared to northern cities, or otherwise you will get okay, in India's ease of living index, Indian cities are performing well on some indicators, and explain and what are the different steps taken by the governments in this front. Or otherwise you will get the gap between the population with more than 1 million city and the population less than 1 million city is reducing on different parameters. And can you explain why and what are the recent initiatives that the government of India is taken? So at that point of time, you must know what is the government of India's policies towards these urban areas. Okay, so for that I am giving, though it is a well-known schemes and well-known things, but still I want to mention here. So we all know about smart cities. So this is a one program that they have implemented. They have taken 100 cities and they want to spend around 50,000 crore on that on 5 years, and to some extent we have achieved with the involvement of private people. We are doing, projects are continuing. Next, Amrut scheme, Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation. It is in 500 cities. Next, Hriday scheme. Hriday is about Heritage City Development and Augmentation Yojana. Next, Pradhana Mantri Awas Yojana, that is for construction of affordable houses, and also provide the loans those who want to construct the houses, and it will also used for the repairing of the existing houses, and it includes PPP model, slum rehabilitation model, giving some credit model. There are different models are there, but it aims at the urban India. Next, Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Urban Livelihood Mission. This provides some sort of skill set to the urban youth, okay, so that people will become more employable, okay. And the Swachh Bharat Mission Urban, Swachh Bharat Mission Urban. So this is something about these toilets, both individual toilets, community toilets, and also solid waste management, liquid waste management, because it comes after that, okay, it's part of Swachh Bharat Mission. Next, they are starting some scheme like a scheme for satellite towns, around 7 mega cities. So what is the meaning of satellite town? What is the meaning of a satellite? Suppose if this is a planet, we are having satellites around this. So here why we have come to this model? Because as the population is increasing in this main city, the burden of resources is very high and the capacity of the city itself is low. So what you need to do is, you need to create the enough ample opportunities in these cities surrounded by this main city, so that people can come to these cities because it is close to this city only, but the burden will be shared among the other cities by providing economic opportunities, by providing infrastructural facilities. So you need to provide what are the facilities that are here in these things, and so that the pressure on this city has reduced, and this is what exactly satellite towns. And we wanted to bring this satellite towns around the 7 mega cities. And again, one more thing is urban transport. This is very important, and some cities getting that metro rail, and some cities got extension to that metro line, and even in the budget finance minister announced they are going to bring around 20,000 buses in urban areas, and most probably they will bring these electric vehicles so that they want to improve the public transportation facility, which reduces the environmental effect. Okay, it reduces the pollution if you go for public transport instead of using individual vehicles. Okay, so these are some of the schemes or some of the programs that are started by the government of India on the front of this urban development or improving the ease of living in the urban areas, and municipalities are doing on this front in a better manner. Now, there is a problem in this, whether it is rural body or whether it is urban body. Generally, earlier we used to say like this functions, functionaries, these 3 F's. So, what does it mean? So, functions, funds and functionaries. That means you must delegate the function to the urban area, whatever they have listed in the constitution. Okay, whatever they have mentioned in that 12th schedule of the constitution, you need to transfer that function to the urban area. You must provide some sort of funds to the urban area, and the functionaries who are doing that function in the urban local bodies must have some sort of proficiency or autonomy or whatever the thing. So, these functionaries must be do well, functions must be transferred and along with the funds. And if you give the urban local bodies with both funds, functions and functionaries, then it is a perfect combination. Then only those whether urban areas or local bodies will really perform well. And some of the, because it is all depending on the states, because if the states are not transferring the funds, states are not transferring the functions, and functionaries are completely under the control of the state government, and they don't have special services like municipal services, and they are completely on the state government and they are not doing enough work on that front. So, a lot of people used to suggest like, okay, functions should be transferred, funds should be transferred and functionaries. And in the 15th Finance Commission, the 15th Finance Commission has clearly said on this fund of, on this transfer of funds, they themselves transfer the funds to the urban local bodies along with rural local bodies, first point. Second one is, they said this State Finance Commission must be established. And what the State Finance Commission do? State Finance Commission will give the recommendation to transfer the funds from the state to the rural bodies and urban bodies. And in the rural bodies, again it is a 3-tier, and in urban bodies, okay, based on the nomenclature, it's different: municipality, municipal corporation, Nagar Panchayat, Nagar Palikas, they are there. So, the funds must be transferred, and if you don't constitute this SFC, I am not going to provide the funds to you. That means now a route has cleared for direct transfer of funds from the state government to the urban local bodies. Anyhow, from the union government, they are getting it directly. And I think they are giving some grants to the shared municipal services. Shared municipal services, if municipalities are sharing the services, then their efficiency and resource management will be improved, and so that their municipal performance will improve. So, that also they have done for a special grant for shared municipal services, and they are also provided a special grant for creating new cities, because new cities will help us to reduce the burden on the existing cities. So, this is how even 15th Finance Commission has also recommended on this urban area front. So, what was the governmental scheme? What was the Finance Commission recommendation on this? But apart from these functions, funds and functionaries, there is a concept of functionality, because this question was asked in UPSC mains 2020 mains. So, what exactly the question? So, it is not about functions, funds and functionaries, but it is also the functionality matters. So, functionality means, I already told, quality of being function. That means how much qualitatively you are doing function, and how can you bring this quality? How can you bring this quality? Does the quality comes with functions, funds and functionaries? No, quality will comes only with efficient utilization of resources. That means you will get the quality only with the efficient utilization of resources. Whether that resources may be the financial resources or human resources or physical resources or anything. How can you bring that efficiency? there are many things. If it comes to the human resource management, definitely you need to have a dedicated trained service personnel so that they can contribute in an efficient manner. There should not be frequent transfer. There must be enough training program on this rural development and urban development front. Then only this functionality works. And you must use technology, because technology will helps you a lot. And technology in what? Technology in various services. And also when it comes to this one of the finances, the municipality or the urban area or in rural concept, in rural area, they must try to identify where are the areas that I can really gain lot of resources or lot of revenues. So you must utilize those opportunities in an efficient manner and try to improve your financial capabilities and try to spend in an efficient manner with an efficient personnel, with an efficient use of technology, with an efficient use of planning. And at the same time, apart from bureaucracy, and you must allow the elections to be continued once in 5 years and without any delay, and try to delegate the power and try to make these people so responsible. Then if we have this combination, this functionality works. So functionality, that means the quality will work, quality will come only with these things. Sorry, functions, functionaries and funds to functionality. And this functionality is indicated in your municipal performance index. And once you have done, the ease of living index is showing how much amount of good thing that you have done on this front of urban areas. So the point is, when you are going through any of the indicator, just don't try to confine to that indicator. You need to know about some of the facts, which ministry is publishing and on what parameters they are publishing, which one is first, which one is second, okay, which thing has given lot of weight. These things you must know. But apart from that, what is the relevance of that, how can we improve that? So those are the aspects also you must know. Okay, so this is something about the different indexes that are published by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Okay, thank you.